What's up, beautiful world? This is TNA, top-notch audio, and welcome to another episode of r/slash Entitled Parents. Our first story will be, Between Them, My Parents Ruined 3 Batches of Chili, followed by Entitled Rat Claims That I Stole Her, My Dog, and finally, My Entitled Mom Thinks She Should Live for Free. If this is your first time listening, remember to hit that subscribe button on the bottom right-hand corner. If this is not your first time, welcome back. Enjoy the stories. And this story is posted by u/warlady22. Between them, my parents ruined 3 batches of chili. Yesterday was a coworker's birthday, and they asked me if I could make them some of the turkey chili like the kind I made for our 4th of July office party. And they reminded me not to add carrots because they were allergic to it and not to make it too spicy. So I bought enough for 2 batches, serves 12 each. 1 batch for my coworker and the other for my family. For the first 2 batches, I tried using a slow cooker, but for the second 2, I had to use the stove to make it quicker. First batch, I walked out of the kitchen to let it cook. I came back when it was about done to find my parents dipping their spoons into the chili. As in, they dunked their spoons into it, ate off said spoons, and used the same spoons to get another spoonful. Ugh, germs. Well, I can forgive them for that. So, second batch. My mom asked if I was going to put carrots into it, and I told her no. In fact, I told her twice, no carrots. She was chopping up vegetables while I went to the bathroom. I come out, I checked the chili, she added the veggies with carrots. They were cut so small, I couldn't scoop them out. I was upset and calmly asked my mom why she added carrots. She answers, because the recipe called for carrots. I reminded her that my coworker was allergic. I told her twice, in fact. She tilts her head one way a bit, half closed her eyes, straight line mouth, and a light shrug. I didn't hear you say it. I effing hate it when she says that. When she does that stance and say it like she said it, I know for a fact she heard me. She just brushes what I said right off, and there was no way to argue with her without turning into a yelling match. Okay, well, I had a little over 2 hours before work at this point. So I made a run to the store to get what I needed to make 2 more batches. I cook it all on the stove rather than the slow cooker. Third batch. It is a tradition on my dad's side of the family that every 30 years, a member is allowed to learn a secret recipe for some kind of Mexican mystery sauce. It's a sweet and spicy concoction that is so darn good, but it really brings out the heat if you put it in with any other hot items. One of my dad's great nephews got to learn it, and he sent dad a container of it. My dad thought the chili was too bland and told me that maybe my coworker would like it to be a bit hotter. I told my dad that it was hot enough and that I know how to make it. Dad gets the sauce anyways and puts it into the chili while I walked off to get ready for work. I come back to taste test it and it was disgusting. It was far too sweet and did not blend well with what was in there. And it was so darn hot, tears were coming down my face. Dad kept insisting that it was perfectly fine. Even though he could barely eat a spoonful, I dumped it into a container and gave it to him. Fourth batch. At this point in time, I had less than an hour to cook it, so I cooked everything into separate pots and tried to mix it together. I forbade my parents from coming into the kitchen while I worked. I told them both that neither one is allowed anywhere near the kitchen until I was out the door. They were upset with me over this. They just wanted to help, but I didn't trust either of them. I managed to get it into a container and out the door into my car. I came back in and rushed to get ready, spraying down the inside of the pots and pans I used with soap, and told my folks to leave them so I can clean them when I get home. My mom was furious and told me that I should clean up that mess before work. I pointed out that because of her and dad, I didn't have time to do it. Came home from work to find that my dad cleaned the dishes, and mom tried to make me feel so guilty for that. I pointed out to her that between the 2 of them, they ruined 3 batches. My dad did apologize, but my mom was stuck on stubborn and refuses to admit that she was wrong. Well, at least the 4th batch turned out all right. My coworker ate some there and really liked it. In the end, it was worth the fuss to get a smile out of them. Kid ended up eating half of the batch in one sitting. And this story is posted by u/Forbidden Cheeto. Entitled Rat Claims That I Stole Her, My Dog. I never thought people could be this stupid, but boy do I have a story for you. I'm still surprised that this happened today. Also, EK was about 7. Shouldn't he have been in school? The cast is me, EM, Karen, EK, 7-year-old Hellspawn, F1, friend number 1, F2, friend number 2. So the story starts with me and my doggo walking through the park. I was supposed to meet up with friends at a dog-friendly, dogs not allowed inside, only outside in an enclosed area, in and out. But Karen had other plans. As I'm walking, EK points at my dog, but I think nothing of it because that's pretty normal if you own a dog. A couple minutes later, EM and EK walk over, EK looking very excited. EM taps on my shoulder and I turn around. EM says, "That's a nice dog. Is it trained?" I've had this dog since I was 12, so yes, it's trained very well. I tell EM that indeed it is trained and sort of flex by telling it to sit and then to bark, which he does. EM then tells EK to pet the dog, which I don't mind, but she never asked if she could. Then EM pets the dog too, but she doesn't pet it, she sort of caresses the collar buckle. EM takes off the collar and grabs the dog by the scruff off his neck because he is a big dog and Entitled Rat is too weak to pick him up. I sort of stand there in shock while EM makes off with my dog, EM snickering in the rear. I'm 24 male and EM looks around 30, so I catch up with ease. While I'm behind them, I call my friends who were across the street wait for me. For the short time I am chasing them, EK has the audacity to turn around and stick out his tease me. Big mistake. I start sprinting and knock EK down, but it wasn't hard. He just fell over. So naturally he starts crying and EM turns around and screams bloody murder at me. All this screaming makes a commotion at the dog parks, so there is a crowd now. I call my dog to me as EM starts screaming nonsense about me threatening to steal her dog and assaulting her son when she didn't give the dog up. The people in the crowd are confused and ask questions like, "How did he call the dog over?" Or "Why is the dog listening to him?" and stuff like that. F1 and F2 show up and ask EM when I assaulted EK. When she responds, they say, "Before or after you stole the dog?" And then EM screams at the crowd to call the cops and that me and my friends were going to assault her next. The cops were called, but not on me. It was pretty clear what had really happened, and some people had recalled seeing me earlier with my doggo. EM screams at the cops to arrest me immediately and that I should be in jail for stealing and assault. The cops look at EM on the floor with EK crying and me standing above them in a crowd. So it looks like I was beating up children. Luckily for me, the crowd testified and many of the people at the park were telling the cops what had happened. The cops asked me what happened, and as I explained, EM screeched in the background and said that I was a lying son of a, insert word here. EM was charged with stealing and some other things, like not having a license and a not so good record with the police. She was escorted to the cop car, still screaming her lungs out. While they take her there, she flips me off and tells the cops that they are making a mistake. And not to be mean, but I honestly don't care what happens to EK. He thought he was really going to get away with it. Anyways, that's the story. I don't know if EM got a jail sentence or EK's condition, but I know EM won't mess with people's dogs again. Thanks for reading. And this story is posted by u/your LCL alcoholic. My entitled mom thinks she should live for free. Background. 3 years ago, I, 24 female, decided to move my mom, 61 female, in with me when she was diagnosed with breast cancer. She had multiple surgeries coming up and was not physically capable of taking care of herself. She is cancer-free now, but is not in great health. She can't work and draws disability. The first year to year and a half wasn't bad, but the last year and a half to 2 years has been a nightmare. She constantly trashes the house, leaves food laying around for days, destroys things such as my washer and dryer, has sketchy characters coming in and out that are on drugs, yells and cusses me out, tells me I am a bad person. I could keep going on forever. A few weeks ago, I told her I was done and she needed to move out. She pays me $300 out of her check, which takes care of her rent, cell phone, house insurance, electric, cable, water, and some food. I told her starting in October, I was going to start taking the $300 and put it in a savings account until there was enough money for her to move. When she got paid in October, she gave me the money. Today, she calls me at work and demands her $300 back, stating it is her money to do as she pleases with. I asked why she needed the money so bad, and she says it's because she wants to go on vacation to Miami. I explained to her that the $300 she gave me is rent money, as in a bill, that I just happen to be saving it rather than using it. She goes on to tell me that I am stealing from her, that it is her money and I have to give it back to her. When I continued to say no, she said starting next month, she's going to save the money herself. Me, knowing that she will just blow the money rather than saving it, I tell her that she either gives me the $300 a month to put in savings, or she has to move out by the end of the month since she would be no longer paying rent at that point. At this point, she starts telling me I am a bad person and a horrible child, that no other child would treat their mother the way I treat her, that since she is my mother, she deserves to live with me for free and shouldn't have to pay for anything, that the money she gets should strictly only be for her and what she wants, that she wasn't going to move out or pay me rent, that she would save money to move when she is ready to. I had to contact my landlord and explain the situation. When she gets her next check, if she doesn't pay me, my landlord and I will be getting her evicted. It just dumbfounds me that she thinks that her 24-year-old daughter, who works full-time and goes to school full-time, should supply her with a place to live and accessories for free. I make good money for my age, but she acts like I am a money tree. Those were 3 great stories. To hear the best stories of the week, click on the video in the top left-hand corner. To hear more Reddit stories all related to what you just heard, click on the video in the top right-hand corner. If you have not already done so, click on the subscribe button in the bottom right-hand corner. Once again, this is TNA, Top Notch Audio. Thank you for listening and have yourself a great day.